Hi everyone, it's PJ slash Rainy Day Gamer, and today we're having a look at Paralives, which just released a couple of days ago. And this video is going to be less about bugs or features that are incomplete and more about things that I think can be improved for kind of the longevity of the game and kind of some small fixes or changes to existing features. And then also making sure that these things can help when new features are added in the future. Okay, so we're loaded into the game now, and I just have my first Parafolk that I made, Yennefer Venderberg. So if you know where she's from The Witcher. I accidentally made her, and then I decided to name her that. I didn't really mean to make her look like her, but whatever. And this is her potential lover that she's getting to know. This is Jake. So hopefully they can get some babies going. But yeah, let's go ahead and head back to our home lot just so we can start talking about some of the things that I feel will make this game better. But here's our little log cabin that I created. I think it's okay. It's not too bad. It's all right. But let's go ahead and start getting through this list. So the first thing that I think would be a huge improvement for build mode is the ability to multi-select same items. So for example, we have a bunch of different counters here. So if I go into build mode, it would be nice if I could just click and drag to select all of the different counters, and that way I can change the color for all of them at the same time, because at the moment you kind of have to go one by one, and then it's a little bit repetitive and time consuming, so it would just be a nice little thing to be able to do that. So hopefully that's something that can add in the future, or if they want to go kind of similarly to how The Sims 3 did it, where you can grab one of these colors and then just drag it to any object. I think that's also a feature that could be really, really good. So coming out of build mode, another one is kind of the pathfinding in the game. Right now it's not the best. I know it's something that they're currently working on, but one thing that I do hope they focus on is having parafolks actually use the bus stops autonomously. Because right now you kind of have to direct your parafolk directly instead of sending them to work and having them use it automatically. I just think it removes a manual step that's not really needed for us. So hopefully that's something they can do in the future, as I think it'll be a huge improvement. Another small thing is just having hover options. So what I mean by that is here is a random parafolk. So right now if I hover, it doesn't really show any information about him. It just kind of does an outline. And in order to find out his name, I have to actually click on him. So it would be nice if I could get this little information just by hovering over him instead of having to do an additional click. A small little thing, it's not a big deal. I don't think it's something they need to focus on, but it would just be nice. Another thing is age span control. So for me personally, I play rotationally, so age span is really important, and I usually like to play where 1 day equals 1 year. So usually my Sims would live for about 90 years, which is basically 90 Sim days from birth. And right now there's no way to directly control where or how long they live. It's kind of just three different options. So if I come in here and go to, I want to say it's storyteller. Oops. Let me see. Yeah, so right now we just have short, normal, long. It would be nice to be able to set the days ourselves. I'm sure someone will come up with a mod for that, but again, it would be nice. So actually going back to pathing, so at the moment parafolks really just kind of walk anywhere. They'll walk through objects, buildings. It's a little messy, but I do think one thing that can help not just the current world, but in future when we want to make our own worlds, custom worlds, I do think they need to have some rules set down. And I think an easy way to do that is to have these sidewalks be path anchors, essentially. So right now, parafolks, they can, if they wanted to, they could walk along this road entirely. So you can see a sim or a parafolk just randomly standing in the road. So I do think if they restrict it to where parafolks mainly use the sidewalks and at certain points they will cross the road, maybe they could add traffic lights or something like that. And then similarly, kind of this section here, if they give us the ability to manually draw out paths on certain lots, so parafolks will only use these paths instead of just walking directly across like so. Again, right now I don't think it's a big deal. Pathfinding is a difficult thing to do in a life simulation game, so I get that. But I do think this is something they need to focus on before they start adding things like cars or the ability to create custom worlds. So another small feature that I think could have an improvement. So for example, we have some daily quests over here, which I think are fine. They're kind of optional, but there are also other times where a parafolk will have that same kind of exclamation point over their head. So let's say she had one, for example, Tara here. So if she had one, it could be completely random, whereas I think it would be better if it was more specific to you as whatever your parafolk skills are or talents are. So for example, one that I've seen a lot is making a logo for graphic design. And obviously not every parafolk is going to be interested in that. So I just think they need to maybe personalize those kind of tasks a little bit. But again, is that a big issue? Not really. I think it's something they don't need to focus on, but it would be a nice addition down the line. So coming back to our lot, so if you're wondering why some of the walls aren't showing up when I have them toggled down, it's because I am still trying to figure out how to do foundations perfectly. So I do have a foundation in this house, but you can see on the hair it gets a little bit wonky, and I'm still not 100% sure what I'm doing wrong, but that's the next thing that I hope they focus on, is making a foundation tool specifically, because right now, to my knowledge, there's no tool directly that just makes a foundation. So what I've seen people doing is they'll make a wall, or they make like a small room, and then they basically drag this up, and then that's supposed to be the foundation, and then they'll drag the walls down or something. But again, I don't know if I'm doing it right or if I'm doing it wrong. If anyone knows, please let me know. But I do think a specific tool for this is going to be incredible. So another small thing, and this is something that I think will be beneficial for people who maybe play on laptops or kind of lower spec machines. For me personally, I haven't ran into any issues with lag when having multiple lots loaded. But as you can see here, there's 2 lots loaded, and depending on your machine, it's going to run into some performance issues. So I think just adding a small ability to click on a lot and just decide to load or unload it would be super handy. Because I have seen some people complaining about that when they travel to multiple lots, it starts to kind of lag a bit. And another worry with that is if you have a full household of parafolks, let's say you have 8 parafolks and they're all at different lots, if they're all loaded at the same time, that's also going to cause a bit of issue. And so I do think they need to focus on some of the performance optimizations. I know they are, but yeah, I think that's one thing they definitely need to get a grasp on at the moment. So some more quality of life features. So you might be thinking where these portraits are coming from. This is actually a mod from the Steam Workshop, and this is something that I have in the Sims 3 open world as well for a mod. It just makes it so much easier finding different parafolks. But yes, I'd like to have this in the base game, but I also have found that certain, I don't know if they're townies, because I don't know if they actually live in the town. They spawn randomly. But let's just say, for instance, this guy here. So this is Kareem. Let's say I have a mission from him. So let's say one of these missions are for him and I have to turn it in. I can find him technically pretty easy, but sometimes with parafolks, they're not actually where they should be, or I don't even think they're loaded into the world at all. It's like they have a set schedule of when they are loaded into the world if they don't live in a house. So I'd like to get a little bit more information from the devs about that, because at the moment sometimes power folks aren't actually in the world even though they technically should be, and they're showing on this little mod here. So hopefully that's something they can give us a little bit of clarification on. Another thing, and this is just very, very small and minor, it's not a big deal, but it would be nice if the kind of conversation bar went a little bit faster. Just because I find myself a lot of times just having to go speed tree, on pause, speed tree, on pause, and it would just be nicer if I didn't have to do that and it was just a little bit faster. But yeah. And then also with the cards, I actually do really like the card system. Again, I just think it needs more variety, because it does get repetitive at certain points. So I'm sure modders will add in a bunch of different cards, so I don't even think it's something their team necessarily focus on. So if I could beg any talented creators to make some kind of interesting ones, then that would be a lot of fun. And then finally, the last thing, again, this is a small kind of opinion, not really a thing that needs to be fixed or changed. It's something that I don't really personally like. And that is that every power folk seems to have really strong blush. I don't know if it's blush or if it's supposed to simulate, cheeks or whatever. In certain power folks, I like it. I like it on this girl. This is Cindy. I like how she already has dramatic makeup, so it fits her personality to have really strong blush. But if we come over here, Jake also has... I mean, it's not too bad on Jake, actually, but you can see it's just very strong. Yeah, like here, again, it's not terrible on this power folk, but you can see it's very strong around here. Of course, when I mention it, I can't find a good example. I promise there's good examples. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, here you can see it's a little bit too much on the blush side. She has some makeup on, but again, oh, oops, not the boobies. It's just a bit strong for me, and I just hope they... I know we have the option to tone it down ourselves, but it would be nice if they could just quickly go in and turn it down for everyone. Yeah, because it's a bit much. Yeah. But yeah, that is all of my suggestions. Again, I'm super impressed with the overall game and I'm having a blast with it. So this isn't me trying to dog down on the developers or anything like that. I can see this game growing over the years, and it's definitely a game that I want to be playing 5-10 years down the line. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, if there's anything you think should be changed, added, or if there's anything you're struggling with in terms of, foundations, for example. Let me know. But yeah, I'm also going to be doing a video on rotational play, or my suggestions to the team on that maybe, because right now I'll save those thoughts for another video. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.